Monk Venerable Beopjeong asks me. Beop Jeong asks us to think about the essence of life when life feels hard and painful. But this might seem like something only a monk like him could do. When life feels unbearable, how can we leisurely think about the essence of life? Even so, Beop Jeong says that during such times we should reflect more deeply on life's essence. He teaches us how to find it. Starts by asking ourselves, who am I? I ask myself, who am I? At first, it seems like a simple question. My name is Choi Jong Tae. I am a middle-aged film director and sometimes write novels or essays. I am a father of 2 daughters and a son to my parents. I was born and raised in Gangwon Province, South Korea. As a child, I was good at art but not at sports. Since entering university, I have lived in Seoul. I am 174 cm tall, weigh 70 kilos, and suffer from arthritis due to a car accident. I enjoy cycling, and my favorite dishes are braised tofu and stir-fried anchovies with gochujang. I walk to the subway station, watch movies with my eyes, and read books. I can describe myself in even more detail if needed. If describing oneself is so easy, why does Beop Jeong ask this seemingly obvious question? It's because there is another me beyond the me I just described. The me I described earlier is the visible me. There is also an invisible me. Beop Jeong explains this using the analogy of beans and pods. When I was young, I often saw beans growing in the fields. What I saw were the bean stems, leaves, and pods. The actual beans were hidden inside the pods and unseen. As the stems and leaves grew, so did the pods and the beans inside. At that time, the beans and pods were one living entity. When the leaves turned yellow and the pods browned, life in the leaves and pods faded. Farmers harvested the pods and extracted the beans. Only then could we see the beans that had been hidden. The pods withered, dried, and eventually rotted. Did the beans, which were part of the pods, also die during the harvest? No. The discarded pods decomposed into soil. But the beans, when planted in spring, sprouted new life. Pods don't carry life, but beans do. Beans continue the cycle of life endlessly. In this world, newborns arrive in maternity wards, while the deceased are taken to funeral halls. When my father passed away, I stood by his body. I thought his cold body was just a shell, like an emptied bean pod. His body was cremated, but if buried, it would have turned to soil like a pod. If humans are like beans, where is the bean containing life? Are we born only as pods and end as meaningless pods? My father passed away after suffering from dementia. As his symptoms worsened, he no longer recognized his family. I wondered, where is the father I knew gone? Now I realize the image of my father I cherished was just a pod. As dementia progressed, his physical shell faded. But his true self, his true essence, remained beyond his dim gaze. Just like how a newborn's true self exists beyond their unopened eyes. Humans also carry a bean of life within their bodies. Even though we know this, we fail to see the eternal life within us. We think our physical body is everything and live only for it. When we face hardships, we despair and lose hope. Some even take their own lives to escape. Beop Jeong advises us to ask ourselves, who am I? Am I the bean or the pod? When we realize our true self is eternal and not just the body, we can overcome despair. We can preserve the beauty and joy of life. Beop Jeong advises us to ask, who am I? Am I the bean or the pod? When we realize our true self is not the body but eternal life, we can overcome hardships and preserve life's beauty and joy. Beop Jeong asks, are you the bean or the pod? What does it mean to live as the bean, not the pod? To find the answer, I plan to embark on a long journey with Beop Jeong's writings. I hope you too will join this journey and live as a bean holding eternal life. not as a fleeting pod.